hey there.
Hi, Sarah.
Oh, fancy meeting you here.
Episode 332.
Ooh. Oh, I can't wait till the next one.
How excited are you?
Almost as excited as I will be for the next episode.
333.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Yeah.
I mean, this one, I'll try to make it good.
We'll make the best of a terrible situation. Welcome, everyone. How are you, Sarah?
Oh, I'm doing real well. I feel like I'm starting to feel like it's more like summer after the torrential rain that we had, like all of a sudden.
Look, I know people don't want to hear us talk about the weather, but I'm sorry.
Right.
It's been nightmarish.
Yeah. Nightmarish, she says. Yeah.
Honestly, I could live in Pittsburgh for this type of weather.
Yeah.
And so why am I paying 4 times as much?
For me, Suze.
I mean, that is really pretty much the only thing at this point keeping me in this godforsaken... Maybe the evangelicals are right and God is punishing us.
Yeah, by just getting rid of our wonderful weather.
Getting rid of the drought.
Yeah.
that I love.
That's so funny.
I don't want to admit that I loved it that much, but I was pretty happy during the drought.
You and none of the farmers.
But that's all right. It's sunny today.
Yeah.
We're going to be fine.
Fine. Just fine.
What do you want to talk about?
Oh, I have a little bit of an update. This is a
Okay.
subject we've been on, talking about here and there, but I watched a great documentary on Netflix called, I think it's called Behind the Curve, that's about flat earthers.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, it was great,
Tell me
Suze.
everything.
It was so good.
Okay.
So they start off interviewing this guy named, oh my God, I'm not going to remember his name. Matt, something that starts with an S. He's like the conspiracy theorist YouTube
He's the
video
guy.
creator. He's like the one who started this
Imagine,
whole
it's like
movement.
being king of the dipshits.
Totally
Like,
that.
okay.
Yes.
All
And so they
right.
highlight a few of the different prominent figures. Prominent, I use that word very loosely. in this flat earth, even the term movement, I hate to call it that because it's like just what it is.
Let's hope it's not moving.
Right. Definitely not rotating, that's for sure. But so they really just talk about like what led him to discover this, and it was so funny.
Discover what?
Like happen upon this theory, this conspiracy theory.
Okay, what is the way? What is
And
this?
he was like, I had dabbled in all the other conspiracies and I read all those.
I dabbled.
And for real.
This is
for
so
real.
crazy.
It's crazy. When you watch it, it's crazier than how I'm explaining it. And he said, Flat Earth was just that last book on the shelf that you just didn't want to read, that you thought, no way, just the name alone. And he says, he's like, and this is like a direct quote, he's like, it's like if a book were titled, book about poop. And he really calls it that. He's like,
God.
and you'd think, I'm going to pass on this title. That's just full of crap or whatever he says. And then he's like, then I read it and I realized this was the thing that was holding everything, all these other conspiracies together. And he just goes off and comes up with ridiculous reasons for why this is a thing. And it bases it all on The Truman Show. He believes that this is a big, huge soundstage. And other people have...
That is sad.
...hopped on board. But the big takeaway... And so they're telling all these stories in this. But they're also interviewing astrophysicists, interviewing, NASA scientists and people who were... Oh, my favorite was a psychiatrist. And they talk about what's going on in the minds of these people.
Yes, good question.
What is the importance of not ignoring this? And there was a great speech that this... I think he works at JPL. This engineer was talking about not having and being a scientific elitist and how these are
I'm
people.
all for that.
Me too.
Great.
And he said that we can't just discount the flat earth people. We can't just, the problem is when we look at that group and say, what idiots, and shut the door on them, then they, as people with their beliefs, wherever they are, will retreat even further back into that belief and feel like a lot of the time, a lot of the interviews that they did of these flat earthers talked about how they felt like everybody thought they were stupid anyway. And this was the first group where they felt like they belonged. For real. And so what
you do belong because you're all fucking fools. Sorry, Linda.
This is what this scientist was saying. He said, we need to bridge the gap and we need to recognize that these are people who question normal rules, which is great. And if they had a fundamental basic knowledge of science, then this could be really, really helpful, because they are curious. They do want, but they are uneducated on what the basic scientific information is. And so we need to not, like, when we're talking to somebody who does hold these beliefs, not just discount them and discredit them, but say, well, let me show you. And walk with them in the journey to discover new things. And that will get them interested.
They aren't simply questioning it, though. They believe. They have decided. They're not agnostic about it. They are, in that community of people who say that 2 + 2 doesn't equal 4.
Correct.
So I'm not so sure I need to meet them where they are.
Well, it just says that if we want to avoid this really big gap, this separate of like a them and us, like the only way to do that is to take a step forward to where they are. And when they're so pushed into the corner, they're not going to be the one to take that first step. And so
counterpoint.
Yes.
I don't believe that they've been pushed into the corner. I believe they chose to stand there.
Yes, that's true. But I think it's, and the people who put this documentary together explained why that is, why people want to latch onto these ideas, how it's the first time they felt connection, how instead of going from, like, normal science is point A to point B, like, you have this idea and here's the evidence, or here's the solution. And science is like the arrow to get there, they say. But what happens to these individuals is they have the B. They have what they think is the solution.
Correct.
And they try to work from that to A.
Yes.
And that doesn't work.
Yeah.
And it doesn't match the scientific model or how anything works at all.
That's true.
And it's not so much the information that they're necessarily connecting to.
Yes.
It's the feeling of
I totally agree.
Inclusion, the feeling of being accepted. Everybody talked about how they didn't ever feel like, they felt like the outcasts in their own family and then finally feel like a part of this. I think there are a lot of doubters in the flat earth world, but they don't want to say it because this is the first time they felt connected.
I get that. And I do sympathize with any people who feel alone and perhaps they feel oppressed in some way, and this is a way for them to be empowered.
Yeah.
But oh boy. Just join a goddamn church or something.
Right. And they also talked a lot about something called, which I had kind of heard a little bit in the wind here and there, this theory called the Dunning-Kruger effect.
Yeah.
This is what's happening. Mm-hmm. So the Dunning-Kruger effect is a model that has, like, if you imagine on the X and Y axis, confidence on the Y axis and wisdom on the X. And as wisdom grows, confidence shoots up in the very beginning when you just have a little bit of information.
Yes.
And the peak, and they call it like this point where it's like you don't have a lot of wisdom.
It's
You're
basically
like
nothing. Everybody in their first couple years of college.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they call it the peak of Mount Stupid.
Yeah, yeah.
And then after that, you go into what they call the Valley of Despair, which is when you come to that point and when you really start learning more and your wisdom grows, knowledge and experience grows, you start this very steep decline into feeling like, gosh, I'm not confident. I really don't know anything. And they even have identified this drop as a program termination zone. So the people who drop out of college, the people who don't complete the program, they get overwhelmed in that area where it's a slip down and they just bail. And then once you hit the bottom of that valley of despair, you start moving up again into what they call the slope of enlightenment, which is where you start gaining information. Sometimes in there you can have that imposter syndrome feeling. Yeah. And then you get to the place where wisdom is high and confidence is high, and they call it the plateau of sustainability. And that's like where you're like, I'm good, this is what I know about. And the example they gave was like, that's like the gurus who are in that area. You know? And so those times where I've had moments of imposter syndrome, I now look at that and go, oh, thank God. That means I do know something.
But you definitely know more than those bozos in the documentary. Not to be mean, kind of to be mean. One thing I don't need science to tell me, though, is how great Fabletics pants are. Their leggings, gorge.
You can probably wear them on a flat or a round earth, I think.
Wear them during your trek to find out that the earth is indeed round.
Yes.
Fabletics is a really great athleisure one-stop shop for affordable athletic wear. Kate Hudson, looking freaking fantastic, being adorable. Can do no wrong. And it's basically whatever you want to wear when you're working out and then look cute when you go out and about and run errands or pick up your kids or go on a date, whatever. I don't care what you're doing with your life. All the designs are done in-house. You can't find the pieces anywhere. They have tons of sets.
I love those.
Really cute. Tops and bottoms.
Yeah. Like, you don't even have to think about it. It's like, here's a set. There you go.
Yeah. You look adorable in this.
Adorbs. And Kate Hudson has, like, her picks each month.
Yeah.
I love those.
Yeah. And then you're going to get them for a really good deal. Plus, they are giving our listeners a really special deal. You can get 2 pairs of leggings for $24. It's a $99 value when you sign up for the VIP program. Just go to fabletics.com/braincandy to take advantage of the deal now. That's fabletics.com/braincandy to get those 2 leggings for only $24. Also, free shipping on orders over $49. International shipping is available. No commitment when you purchase your first order. Fabletics.com/braincandy. Look cute and comfortable and live your best life, would you? So, what was the end of the documentary?
Oh, it was so good.
Tell me.
So, how they ended, you have a bunch of people who they have a convention, like they hold their first ever convention.
At like a hotel ballroom or something?
Kind of like that.
Okay.
And it's pretty, well, look pretty good. There's like 1,000 people in the audience, and everybody's waiting to hear the results from this experiment that they did. So some big fund, I don't know who donated money, but they donated $20,000 to purchase a piece of equipment called a gyroscope that's supposed to measure how much the Earth drifts in an hour. And if we were rotating at, 360 degrees, then every hour this gyroscope should drift 15 degrees based on the rotation of the Earth. And
wait, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
Why do they believe that?
Well, they believe that if they had this gyroscope, they would prove that the Earth didn't spin.
Well, so they believe in the science of the gyroscope.
Yes.
Okay,
but they do not believe that it's going to drift 15 degrees.
Sure. That's their hypothesis.
So they buy the gyroscope.
Shut the fuck up.
And guess what it does?
No.
It drifts 15 degrees.
No.
So then, being the ones who work from point B to point A, they go, well,
here's why.
This is the fun. They say,
oh, God.
It's what do they call it? Energy from the heavens that is not actually calculating the rotation of the Earth. It's calculating the rotation of the sky that's moving above us. So then they said to fix this, right? To fix this, they're going to, or to address this issue, they're going to encapsulate it in some sort of material in a cylinder that would reflect the heavenly radiation or whatever they call it. They call it like heavenly energy, I think they call it. They put that in quotes, like when they were doing the diagram of it, like the people making the movie was like, that's not a thing. Like, heavenly energies, that's not a thing. And
this is so
and
great.
So they put it in this machine, and guess what? Still drifts 15 degrees. So now they're thinking that maybe they need to come up with another material to make the cylinder out of. So this experiment is happening. And the man who's coming out and presenting it is like, I'm sorry, we're going to have to go, and we're still doing more work. So he doesn't present his findings because he knows that they will be in direct conflict with the beliefs of this group. So then another younger guy, he's like, okay, I'm going to create an experiment. Mm-hmm. And he takes like a 3-mile long area of land and puts 3 posts up. One on one end, one on the other end, and one in the middle. Mm-hmm. And he shines a laser through the posts and measures where the laser hits. So if there's a curvature of the Earth, then the height that where the laser hits is going to be different. So he figures it out, and the first attempt failed. Like they couldn't get the laser point small enough. So instead he shone a light through different holes in these pieces of wood, and it should be able to go clear through if the earth were flat. Mm-hmm. It does not go clear through. Because it obviously is curved. And then so they do the experiment, and this is the very last scene of the movie where they like flip the light to see if it goes through. And it doesn't go through when they're all standing at the same height.
Okay.
And the guy goes, "Do you see the light?" "No, I don't see it." "Okay, well, raise it up 3 feet or as high as you can reach, almost to make up for what the curve would be." And it shows. So, and the guy, last words of the whole documentary are, "That's interesting because it proves that there is a curve." Because he had to lift his hand. The guy at the other side had to raise his hand up to to take into account the distance lost for the curve of the earth.
Do you think that they were deflated, or that this is just an obstacle in the way
deflated? This guy the look on his face was...
So he's a believer. I mean, he's not doubting the flat earth theory.
He's a believer, but now is like, "Oh, that's interesting."
Well, because you know how you said some of them seemed like they were unsure, but he's not. He's one of the ones that was certain.
He said, which was a lot of them said in there, they said, "I need somebody to prove me that the earth is round,
Fine.
for me to," and so this is what they was doing. And this proves that it is.
Right.
Like there hasn't been a million other things that do prove it. It is
exhausting to even have to do this.
Like he had to do it himself, and good for him for like coming up with an experiment. That's great. And now maybe he has a little more of a basic understanding of, physics and science and earth and all this stuff.
Funnily enough, I saw a documentary at Phil Rosenthal's the other day. It was I think it was actually called Hell, and it was about Satanists. Mm-hmm. And weirdly, you wouldn't think, but it actually reminds me of the one you watched, because a lot of why people join Satanism isn't because they love Satan, it's because they reject, religion, and then they need a community, and they miss the thing that church can bring, which is a feeling of family and communion. Yeah. And so these people kind of are seeking that feeling, although theirs is very productive and great, and they're fighting against tyranny, where they put up 10 commandments on the government property, and then the Satanists come in and are like, "Okay, well, we're going to put up a statue of fucking, of the guy with the pitchfork." Mm-hmm. So they have a purpose that's important, whereas this feels just like contrarian.
Yeah, it's really people who have been pushed to the fringe of society.
Were there any minorities represented?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I'm surprised. Is that for flat earthers? Is it a lot of minorities? Because I would think this is a white person thing.
It wasn't just a white person thing.
I'm shocked.
Yeah,
because you know how white people
and
are.
this is a big thing amongst basketball players. Did
yes.
you hear that the NBA?
Yes,
they were like, and also Shaquille O'Neal was
but they fly. They see the earth.
Oh, you would think.
You like horizons.
Just look out.
Because I thought a lot of them maybe had never been on an airplane.
No, but it was interesting that they asked, and the documentarians asked these people, like, so are there any academics in the flat earth, or any teachers, any professors? And they were like, no, because they've already been too indoctrinated with the ways of our school systems, and they kept saying they.
Yeah.
And then the documentary people would be like, so who are they?
Yeah.
And they can't even answer that. And one of the really funny parts of the documentary, so there's the main character, and then he's got this gal that he does a podcast with, a conspiracy theory podcast, and they've got a really weird relationship. Like, I think it's very bizarre. And so there's another conspiracy theorist guy who claims that he's the one who started flat Earth, and he's nuts. Like, he's so clearly mentally unstable and definitely has like real
something
problems.
Cooking. Yeah.
So he got mad that all these other people are getting attention, and he started saying that these flat earthers are actually government employees, and that they're plants and they're not even real. So there's an interview with this woman who hosts the podcast who's like, it's so weird that somebody would just believe these things about me I can't even prove them wrong, and this is like obvious information that I'm not a government employee and da-da-da, basically saying every single thing that somebody who's not a flat earther would say about a flat earther.
About the movement,
and then she says, I guess some people would say I'm like that, but I know I'm not.
Oh, no.
Like trying to defend. Like
she had a moment of clarity.
She totally did. And then you can see yourself like go, no, I'm not that bad. But you really are.
Well, because that's a house of cards. She's not going to.
It was so crazy to see her explain how ridiculous this guy is for thinking all of these wild conspiracy theories, and how could he even believe that? And you could easily take the exact same argument and use it about her and her beliefs.
Okay. Well, all right. Let me just say, I'll take a second.
Yes.
They might have a weird relationship, but if you don't have a weird relationship and you happen to be getting married, you should try Zola. It's the wedding company that will do anything for love. And that's all you need.
Well, they're a flat earther dating website, so maybe if there's success on those, they could use some Zola.
It's a wedding planning and registry experience to make the happiest moment in couples' lives even happier. And here's the scoop. They are the easiest way to plan your wedding and register. They have free wedding websites, so you can create your dream wedding registry, affordable save the dates and invitations, easy to use planning tools. And you can start with a free wedding website. So easy, it takes a couple minutes to set up. And then they have over 100 beautiful wedding website designs to choose from, where people go and like get the frequently asked questions and all that stuff. Like, can I bring my kids? And then they're like, heck no. And then it makes registering for the newlywed life so easy. They have 500 top brands to choose from. You can do like a honeymoon fund or a new puppy fund. What the heck? You could do that.
You could. Oh, that's fun.
Future home fund, whatever. So they have a deal to start your free wedding website and also get $50 off your registry at Zola. Go to zola.com/braincandy. That's to start your free wedding website and also get $50 off your registry on Zola. Go to zola.com/braincandy, ZOLA.com. All right. Wait a minute. What was that thing you just said? Okay. The cuckoo. Oh, I wanted to know what
the cuckoo. That's great.
What is the end game for them in terms of like, what do they want to accomplish? Let's say everyone agrees. You were right. It's a flat earth. Now what?
Right. I don't
Nothing?
know. I have no idea. I don't even know if they know.
Right.
Right.
Because that's what I'm not clear on.
So, and there was somebody from Dateline Dateline or News, something like that. Like one of those.
Yeah.
No, Nightline. That was it.
Okay.
I was interviewing this guy, and she said, well, why don't you just raise funds to like travel to the edge of the earth? And
do
he goes,
that.
Ho,
He's not
it's
falling
in
for
the
that.
works. Like said it like that, like, oh,
It's in the works.
yeah, we've got that cut. We're getting it's happening. I'm like, okay. They think it's like an ice wall, like in Game of Thrones.
What's that
Like
mean?
just a wall of ice.
At the end?
Yeah.
Why? Where's the ice come from?
Fuck if I know. There are a lot of holes in these stories.
Do you think they got it from Game of Thrones, that idea?
Oh, good question. I don't know.
Why would it be? I don't get it.
Right.
I'm so angry.
Me too.
I don't want to care.
Yeah.
But I do.
Right.
Especially when celebrities like those athletes start piping up
It's
about
like,
it.
come on, guys.
That's the hill you want to die on?
Right. So the whole, my big takeaway is like, you need to show people and you need to kind of help them.
Yes, you're
see
very
the light
nice
a little
about that.
bit. And you can't just, shut the door, write them off, even though it's so hard and even though that's
It's
like
so
instinctively.
hard.
So the same night that they had the convention, 3 miles away, JPL was hosting they have a meetup for all their scientists and people who like are into all that stuff. And they have like guest speakers and they talk about things. And one of the subjects they talk about was how we need to not be science elitists. And so they were talking about that at the same time this convention's going on. And it was really well done. I really liked the documentary. And they illustrate it with cartoons, which I always really like, because then you're like not actually making fun of the person. You're using a cartoon to kind of illustrate their sometimes odd behavior.
Yeah.
So I kind of like how they did that. And
I'll let it go after this, but I just feel like I kind of reject the idea that people are being elitist when they just tell you the truth, like 2 + 2 = 4 is not being a math elitist.
Right.
It's just saying we've already established this. Let's move on to the next thing that we don't know for sure. So it kind of feels like...
well, he used the example, the guy who was describing this said, it would be like if you had a child who you were trying to teach information to, and if they didn't get it, you blamed the child for not getting it rather than the person teaching the information.
Well, that's where I guess I'm in big trouble because I for sure do blame my kid when I've already taught him something and he doesn't get it. I'm like, what's wrong with you? Because I'm mom of the year. I'll let it go, but I will probably watch it.
Yeah, you should.
It's like a hate watch.
Yeah, I think you should. Well, that's how, and I started watching it and I was like, are they going to, is this one of those things like I don't want to be convinced of a flat earth. And then I'm like, oh, thank God. There's no chance of that.
Anybody that has a family member that disagrees with them about politics, I think can imagine what it would be like to talk with a flat earther.
Yes.
Where you just want to pull your hair out.
Yes. And this will give you a little more compassion.
Okay, well, I could use some of that. All right, well, let's move on. There was an article in the New York Times in which the writer, I think it was the same woman who wrote about the glitter.
Oh,
I think it's Katie Weaver, and she's so funny.
I love that.
And such a good writer. But she had the premise of she wanted to live like it was 1994 for a week.
Oh.
So, she tried to, like, do the things and limit herself to the things we could do, like landlines or
pager.
Whatever. Yeah. And
oh my God.
It was really fun to read, and because you do kind of have that nostalgia probably about maybe how you grew up or whatever, but like to actually do it is a different thing.
So what was it like?
It was a challenge mainly because you can't communicate as easily or look things up. She missed Googling a lot.
Oh my God, I wouldn't think about that.
She had to keep writing down like questions she was coming up with, and then like either she was going to wait until the week was over or find another way to find the answer. That kind of stuff we really do.
Oh my gosh.
Take for granted, I think.
Well, and then I go back to that when we were talking about boredom and the ability for the mind to have some free time to roam. I wonder, could those questions be answered if you just had time to think about them?
She did say that at first that was fun, that you did free up a lot of your mental space for whatevs. And then, when you watch TV, it would be you had to sit through the commercials or go to the bathroom and try to get back in time.
Oh, I wouldn't have even thought about that.
Stuff like that.
That's a good one. Oh my God, I couldn't even DVR anything. I just have to watch everything IRL. No way.
Whenever, I don't know what it is about when you said DTF.
I know.
And now that makes me laugh.
That's why I use it.
What year would you go to, though? If you could pick a year.
Like any, okay.
I said this to my mom. I was like, what was your favorite year?
Yeah. What'd she say?
She couldn't pick one. I was so annoyed. I'm like, play along,
well, what's
bitch.
your favorite year?
I would probably go to like 1988. I like that year a lot.
Yeah. I would go to... Do I have to be the age that I was there, or can I be this old now?
Oh, good question.
Because if, I'm going back to...
Let's say you're you now.
I'm me now.
Yeah, what year would you go to?
I would probably want to be around, 1992. 86, 89.
What are you nostalgic for about that year?
Oh, maybe 94. Actually, 94.
Oh my God, you got to read this article.
I was 8. And 8...
That's what I was in 88. What the hell is with... 8 being 8. Oh, maybe it's like a great year.
Maybe it is, because I felt like I understood enough about who I was, but also I was too young to be into what the cool older kids were. So I want to go back to that time where I had this idea of what cool was and then just live that.
Yeah, right.
I can go see the movie Clueless because I'm over 13 and I don't have to sneak in. And you know what? I am going to wear that mini backpack with those jelly shoes because I can.
Those jelly shoes.
I'm going to buy them for myself.
Those preteen years, say 8 to 12, are a sweet spot where you know who you are, kind of, but you're not bogged down with bullshit yet.
Or guys, or feelings of love, or
body image.
No, I really didn't have that until late, until about 12 or 13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be really fun. But I do see how the technology would be a bummer.
But I think then I loved it.
I did too.
I loved the no.
We didn't know what we were missing.
I still love no technology. I mean, that was my favorite part about being on the challenge. No emails, no phone,
Sarah.
no responsibility, and everybody knows I can't get back to them. I don't have to have anxiety about returning or not returning text messages.
That's the part you like, that like,
Yeah.
you're not accountable to anyone.
That is totally my favorite part.
Well,
What's that about?
One technology that I would definitely not get rid of is the Omigo toilet seat.
Please bring on more technology like that.
Right? This is like, what were we waiting for to update the toilet?
Right.
I can't actually believe how long we, went for the oldie but goodie. Nothing wrong with the toilet seat, but like, what if it could be warmer?
Right.
What if it could smell good in the bathroom?
Yes.
What if it had a nightlight so you didn't trip over cat puke?
Or if it had a nightlight, you'd be able to notice if the toilet seat were up or down.
Big problem.
Huge.
Huge. Omigo toilet seats are from the future, but the future is now, people. And this is a good thing for the environment. The U.S. alone uses 36 billion rolls of toilet paper each year. And this baby uses the old Waterloo.
Yes.
Waterloo, good one.
Clean as a whistle.
Clean as a whistle, so you don't have to use all that toilet paper. It's easy to install. You don't have to get a plumber.
I bet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No fatberg around here.
Yeah.
We can't live without the Omigo, and neither should you. Get 20% off your order when you go to myomigo.com/braincandy. That's Omigo with an O, as in, oh, how did I ever live without this? For better health and hygiene, stop wiping and start washing. You'll be glad you switched. That's myomigo.com/braincandy to get 20% off the toilet seat that's changing lives, one wash at a time.
I'm going to get this for my father-in-law for his birthday.
That's great. He'll love it.
I think he will.
Oh, God, I love it so much.
You know how guys sometimes have their designated bathroom for that stuff?
Oh, I know.
That needs one of those toilets in there for the air freshener alone.
Right.
That's so funny.
And you can feel fancy even when you're doing number 2. Okay, yeah, so we'll go back in time, but I would like to Google. I agree with Katie Weaver. What else did I want to talk to you about? Hold on. Okay, well, this isn't really a story. This is a hilarious visual that I wanted to show
a visual.
you.
Yay.
Okay, it'll take a minute, but basically, I'm going to have to put this in the newsletter, too. What do you imagine?
Oh my God, I'm dying. What?
It's nothing weird.
I know.
It's just a picture of cows who have been shampooed, washed, and blow dried. And
oh my God, they look lovely.
they do.
What?
They look like Minecraft cows.
They
like they're squares.
are hilarious looking. Okay,
why?
they're like way more cuddly.
Yeah.
I definitely want to cuddle these things.
Maybe I don't understand why anyone.
They had such thick hair on their
lustrous
legs.
on their legs, right? This picture of cows, I realize it's terrible for podcasting to talk about a picture.
We'll show them to you.
How would you describe that?
Oh, gosh. Okay, so it looks kind of like if you were to give a cat a blowout, but like picture the whole body of the cow. Like I kind of imagine when I picture a cow, you imagine kind of a smooth hide, maybe a little coarse, but it all lays flat.
Yeah.
And you really just see like the coloring on its back, and then you just imagine like legs like hooves of a deer, how they don't have a lot of fur on them or hair. I guess fur. No, fur or hair?
I would say fur.
Okay.
But I know what you're saying, because what is fur?
There's a difference between like like fur is not hypoallergenic and hair is. Like those dogs that have.
I had no idea.
Yeah, so certain animals have hair, and that's
you're
different.
telling me
so like
that
a dolphin
like a
has
poodle,
hair.
A dolphin?
Yes, a poodle has hair. Does not have fur.
Sorry. You're telling me dolphins have hair?
Yes. That's what classifies them as mammals.
What? Why have I not seen this hair?
It's really fine, but it's like
my arm hair.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Learning things right now. So you're telling me humans have hair.
Mm-hmm.
Poodles have question mark. Because
poodles have hair. Yeah.
That's hair?
Yes, they do. And you can totally tell the difference. So my aunt's poodle was over and with my aunt, and she was there too. She was there. It was just the poodle who stopped by for a visit.
Yeah,
it's the whole gang. And he was up on the couch, and I'm cuddling with him. Didn't smell like my dogs,
Yeah.
felt like real hair, and you just like want to pet them. It totally felt.
Wait, so we're not sure whether cows. They're mammals, right?
Yeah, but is it hair or fur? Is the really?
Yeah, but you're telling me dolphins are mammals and have hair, so that means cows have hair, right?
We're gonna have to Google this. Also, a quick Google search told me that dolphins only have hair when they're first born, and then it stops growing.
Okay,
so there we go.
Maybe I've only seen adult ones.
Have hair.
See, we couldn't do this if we were in 1994.
Right, we totally couldn't.
We'd just be sitting here like assholes debating whether cows have fur or hair.
So it says hair and fur are chemically indistinguishable.
Yes, that's
and have
what I'm
the same
thinking.
chemical composition and are made up of keratin. The primary difference between hair and fur is the word usage. The hair of non-human mammals refers as fur, while humans are said to have hair. So basically, hair is a characteristic of all mammals.
So you're telling me you were wrong.
This is
Cows
still difficult.
And
It says so.
fur.
Basically, hair is a characteristic of all mammals, but a dog is a mammal and a dog has fur, so that contradicts that.
Oh, right. And they're saying it's just a semantic.
Yeah, kind of. That's what it says.
I'm glad we know this now.
Yeah, me too. This is important.
But now I think we should just call everything hair.
Right. That would be funny. Cat
or fur. I'll be like, Sarah, your fur looks so good today.
So good.
Let's do that.
And we would say cat hair.
That's
and
right.
dog hair. Even though they
Okay.
We're getting somewhere.
And getting nowhere at the same time.
Yeah, and getting absolutely nowhere. Oh, they do say also that fur has a designated length that it grows and then nothing beyond that, and hair keeps growing.
In that thing you just read?
Scientific American. Yes.
So you're telling me it's now a length thing.
It just says that yeah, little details, but it is, like you said, what was the word you used?
Semantic.
Semantics.
Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
God, I'm
so basically, those cows are beautiful. They look like they just went to the dry bar and got a blowout. Like if you put, I'm trying to describe anything. It just puffy. It looks like a puffy cow.
Yeah, and I think it looks like a Minecraft cow because they do end up looking rectangular.
They do, and their legs are straight instead of those narrow. Because you think almost like a deer has those. I almost think a cow and
I just
deer.
wrote on myself.
Oh, you sure
God
did.
damn it, Linda.
Susie, you just
Did I get it off?
Oh no, you got it off.
Okay.
Luckily, it wasn't a permanent marker.
My God, things are getting crazy. We haven't even started drinking yet.
I know. She's just getting wild about cows over here. Can't contain herself.
Wow. I told
Bovines.
Sarah a story before we started recording, and I will not reveal who said this
So good.
because you will judge this person. But I was playing Trivial Pursuit the other day with someone it was Headbands, the game Headbands. And what we were trying to guess or whatever, describe was a shark. Mm-hmm. And the person did not know a shark was an animal.
Ask for clarification.
Yes, there was confusion about whether this fit into the category of animal. Mm-hmm. So, attention, hear ye, hear ye. Sharks are, in fact, in the animal kingdom.
Right.
That was a tough pill to swallow.
Uh-huh. I mean, I was under the impression that maybe there was some confusion over the word mammal. Maybe it was are
Sarah
sharks
thought
mammals?
This
but
couldn't be.
That wasn't it. Not at all the case.
That is the worst whenever you think, well, surely they meant.
Right.
And then you're like, no.
I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. They got to mean this. No, they actually just didn't know. And then questioned all the other animals in the ocean. Or what are they? Are they animals? Yes, those are all animals too.
Yeah, the person said, well, what other living things in the sea would be animals? I
can't take it.
Well, as a matter of fact, all of them, lady. Oh, I revealed the gender. Sorry.
But I would struggle and this feels like a future challenge trivia question of, is a bug an animal?
Right.
Because we debated this.
Yeah. Like an ant.
Right. And there's distinction between insects, right? Because I feel like I've had this debate before where a bug, insect is a classification of bug, and then there's spiders and insects, and they're different, and then they fall under the umbrella of bugs. But do bugs fall under the umbrella of animals? I don't know.
Well, they're all in that kingdom for sure.
Yes.
Even though it does seem weird.
Yeah. I'm going to need to see like a flow chart, like an umbrella, some terms.
You should Google that.
Yeah, I really
since
should.
we're on the
Is
Google train today.
a bug an animal? That's a weird thing to Google. This sounds like I'm dumb when I...
Something else you should Google.
Oh, good. There is a difference between animal and insects. Okay, continue.
Is Noom, which is a great app that can help you get healthy, get in shape, get stronger, whatever your health and weight loss needs are. Noom wants to help you with it. So I'm a big fan of the idea that they measure your success by the intangibles. It's not about the number on the scale. It's about, are you sleeping better? Are you, do you have more energy? Do you feel stronger? Yes. Those type of goals for people, I think, are more encouraging. And then they give you the tools you need. Let's say you want to lose weight, how to keep it off afterwards. Because a lot of people lose weight and then they aren't able to keep it off, but only because they haven't learned the good habits, I suppose. So Noom helps you do that. They assign somebody to you that will encourage you and guide you. And then there's a community of people. And they are against this idea of like good food, bad food, whatever. They just teach moderation. And they can be in conjunction with a popular diet if you want it to be. But anyway, there's no shaming, and it's a positive thing. And you don't have to change it all in one day. Small steps make big progress. Sign up for your trial today at noom.com/braincandy, NOOM.com/braincandy. I just love that they keep it positive and have it be about cognitive behaviors rather than just... what you weigh.
And that creates sustainable change that you can...
and we all need help, let's face it.
Yes.
Anyway, go ahead. Let's hear this.
This is going to be a full-blown lesson.
I'm going to be mad?
No, you're going to be educated, and we're going to go...
So bugs aren't in the animal kingdom?
Well, they are. They fall under the classification of animals.
Yeah.
And then, so we have a big umbrella term, animals.
Yes.
Then next it's separated into two groups, invertebrates and vertebrates.
I just learned that in the book you gave Lincoln.
Oh, good.
I mean, I didn't just learn it, but I just read it.
Yes. You relit that flame.
Yes.
And then the vertebrates are divided into warm-blooded and cold-blooded.
Yes.
And in warm-blood, we have mammals and birds, and then... cold-blooded is fish, reptiles, and amphibians.
Right.
Then on the invertebrate side, we have the category of with jointed legs and without jointed legs. Also, they need to come up with a more clever name, like just with
Knobby
or
knees?
without. Right. That's totally it. And so without legs is spiders, earthworms, leeches, flatworms, tapeworms. Blech.
Ew, remember when I thought I had one?
That was the craziest. Oh, I was still convinced you did. And then with jointed legs they have two different sets. So with 3 pairs of legs or with more than 3 pairs of legs. So we have like ants, cockroaches, and ladybugs with 3 pairs of legs.
3 pairs of legs.
Which is
gotcha.
So like 2 in the back and then those 2 little arms up front. And then with more than 3 pairs, millipede, spider, scorpion, etc.
Got it.
So insects do fall into the classification of invertebrates and animals.
It's weird.
I feel smarter.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
I needed that map in my brain.
We got that sorted.
Yeah.
But it does feel weird that we kind of don't refer to the little critters as animals.
Correct.
Wonder why that got going.
Right. Bugs.
Yeah.
It did say that they're the most widespread, successful, and prolific animals, like classification of animals. That bugs or insects, they're, ruling it all.
Yeah. The thing that I was reading in that book you gave Lincoln was about how most of the animals in the kingdom were vertebrate.
Yes.
The other kind.
Invertebrate.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, that would be all your spiders.
And I was surprised, but it makes sense when you think about it, how many of those gross things are haunting
But
us.
luckily they threw the ladybug in there as an example, so it wasn't so
they tried
gross.
to keep it sweet.
Yeah.
It is also funny how people really like ladybugs. You kind of get delighted when you see one on your skin or something. I know they're good luck or whatever. But
I wonder where that started, that good luck.
They say that they eat the bugs that kill the plants.
Well, they
so
definitely
farmers
do.
always think they're good luck.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. It's a farmer thing. I also heard that only male ladybugs have spots, but we call them ladybugs.
Do you think that's true?
I don't know.
Should we Google it?
Probably. We really need an animal expert on here. We need a doctor. We
don't know shit. That's what I know. That's fine, though.
32 episodes.
We can't know it all.
We can't. Well, Dunder-Kruger effect.
Yeah.
We know.
We're on that plateau.
The
guru thing.
Yeah, totally. We're like climbing
Yeah. It turns out some people that are on that really don't know anything.
Just specific subjects.
We know what we know.
And what I don't know, which seems to be growing by the day.
What do you think about these people that like get in a barrel and go across the Atlantic?
Oh, I was going to say go over a waterfall.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are they
Either
going
way,
across the Atlantic in a barrel?
some dude just did.
How are they paddling? With a little oar? Or
No paddle. He just floated.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
On the current?
Mm-hmm. He
That
just
seems
hopped
risky.
in.
Oh, for Pete's sake. This is like a children's nursery rhyme.
I'm sort of treating
Like
it.
winking and blinking and nod, and they're all just like in a...
I'm sort of telling it to you how I read it.
Yeah.
So, the title of the New York Times article is like, Man in Barrel crosses Atlantic. And then you start reading, it's like, this guy got in a barrel. And
What if they called it a butt in the story?
right.
Man floats in butt.
In butts.
Uses bunghole for breathing. That's hilarious if you listen to our past episodes.
Yeah. That's an inside joke. Okay. But so I'm getting real invested, like, holy shit,
Yeah.
like 3 months or whatever it
3
was.
months?
Yeah, just floating along.
And how's he eating?
That's what
okay.
I
you
had
have
so many questions.
This makes sense for
and
you.
they said he brought all this water and food, and I was like,
Doesn't that weigh down the barrel?
it turns out they've got a little fast and loose with the term barrel.
Okay.
Because it was a barrel in the sense that it was cylindrical and didn't have a open top, like where he could pop his head out and paddle or something. Yeah. But it really just was a miniature submarine.
So he just launched himself in an unmotorized
Yeah, that part's true.
vehicle.
But it's not a
vehicle,
barrel.
But like something, and just left the rest up to fate.
Yeah.
That seems crazy.
He did, like I said, he had water and food, and he brought a notebook and stuff, and he could text sometimes, and he, could contact if he needed help. What in the hell is he doing this for?
Right. Is this somebody who studied the currents and tides? Like, was there a lot of, or did this just seem like...
I think he's just an enthusiast.
Okay,
he's
that's
just
a
one
dumb
of those.
idea. I don't like it.
Yeah.
This seems like poor planning.
Right? Like his plan went awry and then he just changed the story. Like, I've always wanted to just do some dumb thing.
What was the point?
I don't know.
Like,
He said he liked
like
it,
a
though.
goal, like I want to get from here to here in this amount of time, or...
Yeah, he wasn't even trying to beat a record or
How do you know where he was going to end up?
Right.
That's a big-ass ocean.
They probably told him ahead of time, right? Like, why are we getting dumber?
I feel
like,
yeah.
Somebody
I just feel
probably
like this
said
is
to
a bad
him,
idea.
"Here's where you should plop in."
Okay.
And then he said he had 2 near-death experiences because there was a gigantic ass boat headed right for him.
Oh my!
And he can't get out of the way.
You can't. That's such a bad idea. This is only something a guy would do. There's no this. And is he a white guy?
Yeah.
This is like white people are crazy shit. Like this is like okay. What's wrong with you people?
I mean, he said he enjoyed it and that it was really. I think he probably had a spiritual experience in the sense that, like you say, when you have only your mind and the elements, you do maybe get in touch with a more primal. Yeah. But I just don't understand.
It just seems like you're not really thinking. There's another documentary on Netflix that keeps coming up as like a suggestion for me to watch about the woman who swam across
the channel.
Yeah,
is that it?
She's done a lot.
I know
of
this
swimming.
lady. She's older now.
Yeah. And she just talks about how much she loves swimming, but it's so well planned, and she's got a rescue boat that's however many yards away,
have that,
and
I
that kind of thing. He did.
I think he was able to contact them if he needed to.
Okay.
But it wasn't somebody accompanying him.
Okay, because to get other people on board with like a loosey-goosey plan like that is like,
I just
gonna hop in a barrel and float for ? But I brought food, so don't worry. I can text.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did get seasick a lot.
What? That is silly.
You're surprised?
Well, I just feel like if you were going to commit to, you know.
Yeah, you think he wouldn't have that issue.
You'd think that might be one of the things that, like...
Well, how can you train for that, though? Can you?
No, I mean, but I know I never get seasick.
Oh, you never have?
Never. I don't even know what that feels like.
But, I mean, have you been on a cruise ever?
Yeah, and I've been on a boat for weeks, and I have the problem when I get back to land, I can't stop feeling like I'm on a boat for 2 weeks. That I get. And I get land sickness. That's what that's called, Suze.
It's still funny.
It is funny. You can laugh at that. I had to Google it because I'm like, what the fuck will get rid of this feeling? It's been 2 weeks and I still feel like I'm on a boat. I hated it.
Do they call it, they don't call it vertigo. They just say
land sickness.
And what's the cure? Dramamine?
Oh, there were some weird cures for it.
Let me guess. Vinegar? It's always like that. Anytime it's some homeopathic whatever.
Maybe it was like it was something.
And then it just wore off for you?
Yeah, it went away after a little while. But I was worried for a while. I'm like, this is not going away.
Like you thought it was just who you were then.
This is who I am.
Tell you what else isn't going away. Mailing stuff. Am I right? We all ship crap. And if you're doing that, which you are, you ought to be using Stamps.com because that way you don't have to go to the post office. You don't even have to get out of your jammies. You could just put whatever you got to mail on a scale, weigh it, put the info in, print the thing, put it in your mailbox, done. Takes no time at all. It's super easy. It's a time saver. We all need to save time. So you're going to want to use Stamps.com and bring all the amazing services of the U.S. Post Office right to your computer. Pardon my cat, who's meowing. Whether you're a small office or you're shipping stuff from your small business or whatever you need to send, you can do it with Stamps.com. You can get discounts on your postage, up to 40% off priority mail, and it's just a no-brainer because it saves you time and money. Right now, our listeners get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a digital scale without any long-term commitment. Just go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage, and type in Brain Candy. That's Stamps.com and enter Brain Candy. Now, I have a question. What do you think about cruises?
Well, certain ones I love. Mm-hmm. I've been on like 4. 2 to Mexico. 1 on a cruise down the Danube through Europe, which was a small river cruise. Mm-hmm. Wonderful. And the other one on like a real fancy cruise to Russia and Russia and Finland and areas up in like that. Places up.
The ones to Mexico, were they the traditional carriers?
Booze cruise.
Oh, is that what they like?
Oh, yeah, booze cruise. It's like 3 days.
Carnival or something?
Yeah, and it's like 3 days that leaves from Long Beach, stops in at just one place. It stops in, I can't remember, is it in Encinitas or something like that? Mm-hmm. Somewhere where you just have like a day trip and you just get off the boat. Instead of drinking on the boat, you're drinking it, that Senior Frogs or whatever it's called. And like buying the little trinkets that they're selling on the side of the road and then getting into it. And then you just hop back up on the boat and,
The problem though is the germ grossness.
Oh, it's awful. And I just go because we do that like every couple of years or so. All of our friends from camp get together and we go on the cruise.
Oh,
and so it's like just camp people and real fun. But yeah, I wouldn't be like signing up to go on that because I'm real scared of the disease. The people getting sick everywhere.
Yeah, it's disgusting. Bad. Yeah, everybody's BM everywhere.
Oh my God, it's so gross.
It really is because as soon as one person gets sick, then you're dead. It's a pandemic.
Yeah, and like my biggest fear is something happening, like the
I would
ship
definitely
being
fall off.
Like there was that Italian cruise ship that couldn't get back to shore. They were like, you could see the shore from the boat, mm-hmm. and they were stuck, and nobody had toilets or running water or anything, and it's just all backed up.
Yeah.
Forget that.
It goes from being luxurious to Fry Festival in like 2 seconds.
That is such a good way to put it. It is Fry Festival.
Where you're all of a sudden...
Fire Festival.
Oh my God.
We do that because of the boots. We do it because of the shoes. It's the Fire Festival.
Fire!
Yes.
I'm so sorry.
Yes.
Yes, that is what happens because it really only takes one thing to go wrong before you have no toilet.
Right. And oh my gosh. I was just talking to somebody who used to work on cruises who told me that she has millions of stories that are podcast worthy because...
I bet.
Yes. And how oh my gosh, she said one of the craziest things is that they have a morgue.
Oh, that makes sense.
Because if somebody dies, you got to put them somewhere.
Yeah.
So every cruise ship is
equipped
with a morgue. But I feel like they had a crazy name for it, like a death cabinet or cabin or something like that.
Death closet, I've heard.
Yeah, it was a death closet. And I was like, what? Yeah.
Right. You got to be ready for that.
Yeah, I'm going to have to remember who it was I was talking to because I was like, hang on, I got to start taking notes. And I forgot about it. Yeah. Did you ever work on a cruise ship?
No. I went on a cruise to the Caribbean one time, but I don't know. You know how there's these people cruisers?
Yeah. People love it.
They love it.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what they love.
Well, I loved the cruise to the Danube and the one in
the river
Norway.
Cruise is different.
It was so fun. I loved that I visited like 8 different countries and I never unpacked.
Yeah.
And they just never stop bringing you food.
Yeah, that
That is like my favorite part.
That sounds
and
nice.
Then the really fancy one, we have a good friend who works in the beverage, like food and beverage for Carnival Cruise Lines, and they have another cruise, what do they call it? Seaborne cruises, which are like, we got it a crazy deal and we would never be able to afford it if we didn't. And they have unlimited champagne and caviar. And at the end of the cruise, they tell you like how much caviar the entire boat consumed. It was like pounds. I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
It was so great. And the food was just unbelievable.
Right. That sounds nice.
Yeah, it was so nice.
Those other ones, no?
No, not that one. Yeah.
Don't you wonder how the heck it floats? Yeah. I think it's a miracle that they're not all Titanic situations. I really do. Because you just think, this is not natural. All of this weight, I get the physics of it, but...
It's so funny because that's how I feel every time a plane takes off.
Me too.
I'm like, how is this even
miracle.
happening?
It is a miracle.
And that's that little graph again where I'm like, I don't even know how this works. I mean, I understand the basics of lift and drag and all that.
Sure.
Kind of that,
yes. In theory.
Wright brothers, I get it in theory. But you get all those people on board, and like it's surprising that it ever gets off the ground. It's also surprising that there aren't more people who just lose their shit and freak out on airplanes.
True.
Like I recognize the anxiety that I have on there, and I'm like, I am a stable, for the most part, human being.
Yeah.
How do I know that I'm not surrounded by people who like? It just is crazy to me that whole tackle a passenger and like handcuff them to make sure that they don't freak out. Like why somebody just doesn't go, I gotta get out of here, and like opens the door and just jumps out.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I think that all the time, and I'm like, is that just the field I work in where I just am aware of like the internal dialogue of everybody on this plane right now?
Well, what does that speak to then that there aren't those incidents? Do you think people can handle things when they have no choice? Maybe that, or
like a group thought, like a group think kind of, or like maybe it's group dynamics. How if everybody else is looking around, if you're the person with anxiety and you look around and everybody else is calm, then that is going to bring you down. But if you got the wrong combination of people there who just kind of continue to trigger each other's, I don't know, anxieties and all that stuff, that it could not be like.
When I was in Hawaii, we were on the beach and there was a tsunami warning.
Oh my God.
And the thing's going on and on.
Get out of here.
No
You
kidding.
didn't tell me this.
Well, the reason is because it was one of those moments where it keeps going and I'm doing the thing you're describing where no one's panicking. And
what the heck?
You have this monologue in your brain about, did they know something I don't know?
Yep.
Or are we all waiting for me or someone else
This
to
is
be
like
like,
a
get the
version of
fuck
the
out of
bystander
here?
effect.
It is. And Adam said, start packing up your
Good.
things.
I'm glad he did that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
he's very much into, it doesn't matter if everybody's fine with it.
Just
we're
freaking
out of
go.
here.
Right.
And right when we did, they turned it off and they said, we just conducted a test.
Oh.
Why would you tell me after? It was a true tsunami warning, but then they're like, oh, psych.
That's dumb.
It really is. But it taught me a lot about how people would react if it were
They
a real
wouldn't do
one.
anything. They wouldn't
Nothing.
do anything. And everybody had the same information you did.
Yeah.
Where they didn't realize until afterwards, too. Were people looking around like...
Yeah, everyone was looking around.
What the hell? Mm-hmm. That's really terrifying.
It really was.
You know what? I bet there are... I wonder, the tsunami that happened in Thailand, maybe like 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you think there were tsunami alarms, like warnings?
Now, that's
for that?
a good question.
Because there were a lot of people just chilling on that beach, and I wonder if people...
It
did
seems like
ignore
there
it.
would have been because
Yeah.
that's a location that is prone to...
Right. I was thinking that.
Or was in Japan, they had to have had...
Had to.
But what are you going to do to a certain extent? Maybe some people did evacuate. I don't know.
And I mean, when I lived by the beach, I knew exactly. I even went so far as to look at, because all this material's out there, that you can look at tsunami, what do they call it? You're in the tsunami zone or whatever the zone is, and you can see based on whatever they have set up offshore.
Yeah.
And in Long Beach, I guess there are all these underground or underwater
Sensors.
not even just sensors, but like, what would you call it? Like, kind of like man-made sandbars or things put up to prevent tsunamis that would stop.
Lessen them.
Yes, lessen the impact of that.
Okay.
So I don't even know what they call them. I do a bad job explaining, but they show like if a tsunami were to happen, and with what we have in place, this is how far the water would come up. And I knew exactly where it would go. I knew exactly what the escape route would be. I had all of this like planned out.
Yeah.
And it all started because I couldn't get renter's insurance because I lived too close to the beach. And they were like, "Oh, you're in the tsunami like zone." I was like, "Hold on a sec.
Oh.
That seems like something maybe I should know about just in case." And I was just right outside of it where I wouldn't have to go too far, but I knew that, like where the evacuation route was.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
If you're in the friggin' tsunami zone.
But I would have never even known had I not tried to get renter's insurance.
Right. That should have been on the fucking lease.
Yeah. Like, here's a little discount because you may die in a tsunami.
Little discount.
$100 off a month. Instead, they charged me double because I was like, close to the ocean, ocean view.
Oh, that's funny. Well, I do think it's a good reminder, though, because if you're in a situation where you think you might be in danger, don't pay attention to what everyone else is doing because we're all idiots.
Right. That's true.
Just protect yourself.
If you see, like, oh my gosh, anything that looks like that, you just get...
The devil.
Yeah, and trust your instincts.
Yeah. Right.
You know?
But nobody wants to look hysterical.
Right.
You don't want to look like the weirdo who's like
I'd rather be hysterical than dead.
Right.
So
yes. There, Hawaii.
Yeah.
All right, people, don't forget to leave us a 5-star review. Mm-hmm. Tell a friend. Subscribe. BBBBB.
Yeah.
Anything else, Sarah?
Just like keep sending us some of your interesting articles that you guys find. I love those.
They're good at that.
Yay.
Bye.
Thanks, friends.
This podcast is brought to you by Wave Podcast Network. Check out all of our shows, including the Brain Candy Podcast, I Don't Get It, Coffee Convos, and Let's Talk About It.